And welcome to the PRL round 11, or sorry, round 12 of season 16 here at Singapore. This is the 12th round in a very hotly contested championship battle. And the biggest news of the day is that you'll look at the leaderboard and you won't see the name Deki appear anywhere. He unfortunately is missing out. So it's going to be up to Michael and Falcon to slug this one out. And Michael, here in this Toro Rosso, first to leave the pits. He's going to be in a very comfortable position right now. Let me just run through the standings real quick. Two Toro Rossos coming out line astern. They're the ones who are going to be battling, and not really. They're the ones we're going to have to keep our cameras focused on, because it's going to be a heated battle between these two. They get off relatively well off track. Although I think their relationship has deteriorated a little bit. Cliffy won't be here. He unfortunately is not able to commentate, so I'll be doing this solo. So as things stand in the championship, Michael is leading with only 2 wins actually. He has 161 points, 4-point gap to Deki, who, as I said, is not racing. And he's 4 points back with 157 points. So Jerry's saying it's a dry quali and a race that's going to be dry and then end up wet. So Singapore in the wet is not going to be fun. I do not envy these drivers whatsoever. So Falcon down in third. He had a DNF last week in Belgium. He's 21 points behind. It's imperative that he beats Michael today. Imperative. Mishimori, 88 points. It's quite a big gap. It's about 52 points back. He's just about ahead of June and Neo, 5th and 6th. Then Rick, Killer Blue, Owen, Kara, who I don't think is actually racing anymore. Neither is Maxi Luca. Jari, Lewis, who's not racing either today. Harry, and Calic Wrist. Jeff's Revenge, Gary Donegan, F1 Racer, and rounding out is YHYY. So yeah, dry quali, dry start to the race, and eventually a wet race. Very, very intriguing stuff. As I said, I do not envy these drivers. Singapore, it's tough in the wet, let alone the dry. Sorry, it's tough in the dry, let alone the wet. It's obviously tough in the wet. So yeah, on board with Michael now on his opening lap. I know Michael's very quick. He knows how to set a good banker lap, and I think this is one of the tracks where it's important to get a good banker lap in, so you can just sort of soften the pressure on yourself heading into the latter stages of qualifying. I would take you on a little lap guide of this track and commentate over every corner, but I just despise the look of every single molecule of this place, so I'll just let Michael's driving do the talking. Very nice and tidy by the Greek god that is Michelangelo. Down the tunnel, loses the back end a little bit, but keeps it nice and steady. I haven't seen a corner cut anywhere on this lap, so it looks like it's going to be a good banker lap. I love this corner, to be honest. It's a very nice corner, the only one I like on this track. And he doesn't set a lap. Wow, shows what I know. He corner cut somewhere eventually. Let me actually get my thing up. As Falcon goes top with a 36.7, I believe. That's a very strong banker lap. Let me just get this all up. Deki, 38 dead. Not Deki. Owen. Mitch, 37.6 on super softs. Interesting that he's starting on super. He's just set 1 lap on them as well, so very interesting. It's a. Oh, let me just get that quiet. Very clearly not interested in using this compound tire at the start of the race, as he's letting a Ferrari go by. He only set 1 lap on them, put it down into lean, possibly corner cut on the first corner. I don't know, but 37.6, very strong time on the super softs. Will he go out again on the ultras? I imagine he will. because track position is vital here. So I imagine we will see him again on the ultra softs to improve on that lap, but that's a very strong lap on the super softs. So have a few people. We have Jari. Has a lot of fuel in his car. I find that very odd. I don't imagine he's going to set that many laps on one set of tires. 38.0 for him, so not a bad banker lap. I was imagining he'd be in the 37s if he had a bit less fuel in his car. As we still have laps being set, we have by the way, if I'm too quiet or anything, or if there's any problems with the audio or the quality, just let me know. As Harry touches the wall there, you'll probably notice that we have some drivers decking out new usernames. Harry and Mike. Falcon would be, but he's a bit lazy. Oh, Harry loses the back end, smashes his wing off the wall. He's gonna have to abort on that lap, and yeah, gonna put a lot of pressure on himself towards the closing end of this qualifying session. Calic wrist into second, 37.3. Good lap from him. And it looks like Smithy will be the last driver to cross the line on these first round of laps, although unless Racer is about to cross the line as well. He at line astern. Oh no, he's gone lean, so he'll be aborting that lap. Racer won't be, however. 37.7 takes him up into 4th place. So I mean, speaks for itself at the moment. IRT Falcon is looking nice at the moment. He's 6/10 clear of 2nd place, well to the 36s for a banker lap, especially. That's a very, very, very strong lap from Falcon. So while there's no drivers out at the moment, I'll off the top of my head give a little recap of the Belgium race. Decky got pole with a 42.5, I believe, a very solid lap time. No one qualified on the super sauce because they all knew that there was going to be rain at the start of the session rather, so they wouldn't even have to start on those tires. So they chose the softest compound, and Decky took pole ahead of Michael and Falcon, I believe, or was it Louis? Louis lost his front wing off of Falcon, not Falcon, Mike in the opening few laps. So he had to make a little comeback drive. I think he ended up in 5th place. Falcon was looking strong in the wet. He was very quick. He had a few drifts that caught me and Cliffy's eye, but then he had a drift too many and he just put it in the wall up Eau Rouge. June got a solid 3rd place. He nursed his tires well. Michael managed to come home 2nd behind Decky, whose pace was just extraordinary on the wets and the dries. It's a real shame he can't make the race today. He's very, very quick. Why is there only 12 drivers? I don't know. I imagine it's because it's Singapore. And true, we don't know what the drivers possibly do know, and that's how long the super softs are going to come, or how long the rain is going to come in. So it could come in within about 5 laps. It could come in within about 25. So if then starting on the super softs could be a good gambit, but maybe you have drivers like, I don't know, Harry, Smithy, everyone who hasn't set a lap yet, and possibly Owen and Jari could probably improve their lap on supers. I wouldn't imagine that that Racer could, although he could just prove me wrong. Falcon definitely won't improve on that lap on supers. If he does, I think we should just cancel the race, give it to him, as he's going to start his next flying lap. He has 2 laps of fuel, so he's going to give himself a bit of leeway in case he makes a mistake or a corner cut. We're going to ride on board with Falcon because I am intrigued to see how he handles this track. I'd say massive respect to no assist runners. When I had my wheel, I could use ABS, but with the controller, I just cannot do it. So massive assist with people using no massive credit to people using no assist and still being rapidly quick like they are. Falcon or Mike are people I struggle to keep up with, and I'm an ABS merchant, so that's just testament to how quick they are. Falcon loses the back end a bit, but showing he's just on the limit, on the edge. He has a car in front of him, which is going to be distracting. Hopefully that car gets out of the way as soon as possible. .36.2 from Mike, completely missed that. That's a stonking lap from him. What a lap from Mike. Oh, Falcon loses the back end. He hits the wall. I don't think he's lost any of his front wing, but I think that lap from Mike must have put him off his game, because that's a great lap. That Ferrari actually didn't get, that's Calic Riss, who actually didn't get out of Falcon's way, so Falcon might have something to say about that. He's going to back up, keep it in lane, going to cool the tires down and go again. Who do we have coming? Is Calic on a lap? No, I don't think he was, so Falcon might be a bit aggrieved there. Smithy starting a lap. No, he's just put a 37.5. A good lap from him into 6th place. Mike's session is done. He's happy with that 37.2. Falcon's session is done. He's put it in the wall. Was that out of frustration for making a mistake, or was that a genuine just crash into the wall? I don't know, but that's Falcon out of this session. His banker lap was very good, so he's not too worried. Neo takes 2nd place. Very solid lap time from him as well. Have Smithy in the wall. He's happy with his lap, I imagine. Mitch out on ultras. We'll watch Harry as he comes across the line. Qualifying's over. These are these guys' last laps. And unsurprisingly, Falcon in the chat having a bit of a moan at Calic, which I don't blame him for. Calic clearly getting in his way a bit. Harry on ultras, supers rather, I didn't even notice that. He puts it in the 36s. I have a notification coming up. I'm gonna have to get rid of those. You get to 36.8 on super subs. That's a ridiculous lap. This league terrifies me, to say the least. Calic Riss coming across the line. Jari does not improve. 38.0 for him. Calic Riss puts it in 5th place with a 37.0. Mitch now, what can he do? Mitch Emery, Ultras puts it 2nd, 36.5, 0.3 off Michael, who just shows how strong his lap was, and that'll do it for quali. Michael, what a lap! What an amazing lap from him, a 36.2. I think that's quicker than my time trial lap around here, so just shows how much of a melt I am around here and how much of a god he is. That's I don't know how many pole positions that is, but I imagine that's one of his best. Machinery 0.3 off in 2nd place. Neo in 3rd, pipping Falcon. Harry in 5th place on the supers. That's an amazing lap in its own right. Calic Riss takes 6th place. Gary Donegan in 7th, very good qualifying from him, ahead of Smithy and Racer. Jari rounds out the top 10, and there's Owen in 11th, and then YHY didn't get a lap in, so he's going to be starting 12th. Let me go, I hate to do this, let me go quickly turn notifications off. So yeah, not much I can say about that qualifying session other than there were some ridiculously quick laps. Mike with a 36.2. Harry with a 36.8 on supers. I mean, I'll go on about all day how good those laps are. So we have the formation lap. Thankfully, I was about to, you know, run down the timer and about to start the race, but I thankfully I stopped myself and realized that we might have a formation lap, and we did. So, yay me. We're gonna look at tire compounds as we see Harry there on the supers. It's very rare that you set a 36.8 in a league race and you end up starting in 5th place. Just shows how competitive this grid is. And naturally the two at the back who get to start on fresh tires, Own and YH, they're gonna have the luxury of nice and fresh super softs, which I imagine will take them into the rain period. We don't know when the rain is coming. We do know that the rain is coming, though. Aussie driver is going to keep it line astern this formation lap. We have a Smithy paused, so he's having none of this formation lap. I have to remember not to stay on board all the time. I don't really like the onboard shots. I feel staying on board gives you more of a sense of speed, sense of closing in, a driver closing in on the person ahead of him, or, you know, we can sort of look at a driver's driving style more on board. I like staying on board, but I probably should stay in broadcast a bit more as well. One man I do want to stay on board with is Harry, though, because they'll take, I don't know, a few laps before he's quicker than the ultra soft runners. So if he can, you know, stay, maybe even jump, get a place here on Falcon, he'll have a very strong result. He'll have a very strong advantage, having the possibility to go to the rain period and the much fresher tires. The cars line up on the grid. We're gonna run on board with Michael. Here we go. 5 red lights. Wind them up and let them go. Michael looks like he's sort of bogged down a little bit. He covers it off. Mitch can't make a move. Falcon keeps second. Who's that Force India? That's Neo just taking third off Falcon. Side by side go Mitch and Michael. Mike has the inside line, so Mitch won't be able to make a move now. He might get a better run though. Have a look at him into the I believe 4th corner. He'll get a very good run. Mike's gonna have to go defensive. We're watching on board with the Force Indy. He has the best view in the house. Michael, yep. Mitch runs out of road. Mike has nowhere to go. Down the inside, Falcon will go. Will Falcon go down the inside of Neo? He will. Ooh, bit of contact, almost touched the wall, and Falcon looks like he's got that third back from Falcon. And now Harry is all over the back of Neo. This will be a dangerous one if he does it. Chooses not to. He's a smarter man than me. So Mike retains his lead. Mitch, let me get the thing on. So yeah, the whole field except of Falcon and Neo staying the exact same. That's rather impressive. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Only 2 drivers swapping positions. So Mike opening up a small bit of a gap onto Mitch. Then you got Falcon in 3rd ahead of Neo in 4th. Harry in 5th. Calic Rist, his teammate, in 6th. Gary Donegan purring on the back of Calic Rist. Gary Donegan had a very good showing in Belgium, so Calic Rist pits actually. He's got front wing damage. Terrible for Calic, and he's gone wide just for good measure. As Michael sets the provisional fastest lap of the race. Gary Donegan is up into 6th place. It's a great result for him. Smithy in 7th. Down the inside goes Jari of the racer, and he makes it move. A clean move from Jari. Nothing much the racer could do. YH into 10th place, and Own and Calic Rist having to pit. Drivers are sort of line astern. Smithy looks like the closest battle. He's sort of pouncing onto the back of Gary Donegan, but Jarry, who made that move on YH, looks quick in this opening stage, so he might find himself latched onto the back of these two soon enough. Head back up to the top. Falcon is just about gotten out of Mitch out of DRS zone, and Falcon is just about climbed back into Mitch's DRS zone, with Neo not far behind. So the Toro Rosso spreading their legs. Michael's much more so as he's in the lead. I imagine he's going to set the fastest lap of the race as he crosses the line. That is our second closest battle, the closest being Smithy on Gary Donegan. I could just say Gary, but I quite like the name Donegan, so I'll just be saying his full name every single time. Gary Donegan into turn 1. Looks nice and tight. Corner cuts, we have to mention corner cut penalties will play a huge role in this race. So just keep an eye out on your left-hand screen for any penalties flashing up. Especially if it's for the leaders. Calic Riz, I imagine, will set the fastest lap of the race soon enough on his fresh tires, or maybe Owen will take it off of him. But Falcon looking very close to the back of Mitch. So yeah, Falcon on the charge at the moment. I always find it very interesting to look at the amount of fuel drivers have. Mike has 3.5 laps, 2 for Mitch. Falcon's on almost 4 laps. Neo's on under a lap, so he's gonna have to do a bit more saving than the others. Harry, 1.5 laps. Gary Donegan, 1.2. Smithy, 2.1. Jarry, under a lap as well. Very, very little fuel on Racer. Talik, 2 laps, 1.2. I always find that no matter what the track, it could be Monaco, it could be Singapore, it could be Hungary, it's just good to overfuel your car by 3 or 4 laps, because rich mix is so important around here. Once you can run rich mix, especially in your second stint, if you just put the car into rich mix and just pace it, you'll be so much quicker. You'll get into a flow, not having to change fuel all the time, and that'll usually be your best part of the race. So I always find having quite a lot of fuel on board is good. Falcon, as I said, dropping Neo and capture onto the back of Mitch, who actually isn't losing too much out to Michael. So could be a tasty 3-way battle if Mitch can sort of speed up a bit, as Cali gets a penalty already on lap 4. So not ideal for him. Hello to everyone watching. This is round 12 of PRL. We have a huge championship fight going on with Mike and Falcon, who's 21 points behind. Decky, who's 4 points behind Mike, unfortunately cannot race today, so he's going to be in a massive advantage heading into the next race, which I can't tell you. I believe it's Japan. I'm not too sure. But yeah, on board with Falcon. Again, remind myself to not stay on board too long. Get into the broadcast view on occasion. Hello to Lickle Blocks. So we have I wouldn't say a train, a small train forming in the shape of Harry on those super softs. It looks like those ultra soft runners. Oh no, Harry has front wing damage. I've completely missed that. He's got front wing damage, whether he got that at the start or later on his own doing, I don't know. But he's got front wing damage. He's holding up this straight. He must have just got it recently, because Gary Donegan was not that close to him before. So disaster for Harry. Will he pit this lap? I imagine he will. Nope, stays out. I was thinking that maybe the ultra soft tires actually lasted quite long, which I know for a fact they don't. So I was wondering how Harry was losing out to the ultra soft runners. But yeah, front wing damage for him, that's going to compromise his race hugely. Speaking of which, Falcon on the back of Mitch, and he just can't make a move. We can tell Falcon is the quickest driver out of possibly all these top three. Mitch lets him through, interestingly enough. Mitch is gonna say, okay, you guys are in a championship battle. I'm gonna let you do you. You can have a go. Kyle Chris is the fastest lap of the race, but interesting for Mitch. I like that though. I like that he has no interest in having a say in this title battle. He's gonna let the two Toro Rossos battle it out. Falcon weaving in appreciation. I quite like that. So, Falcon, you've been given a lifeline by Machinery. You better take it. You better hunt Michael down and make the most of it. Neo's not too far as well, so we'll see what the Force India can do about that. And Gary Donegan runs to the back of Harry. Tell you what, Gary Donegan, if he gets 5th place, be very, very impressed with that. 5th place on merit, by the way, as well, because, you know, he's looking very strong at this track. He's pressuring Harry, who's no slouch whatsoever. I'm going to ride on board with Harry into this final corner, because I think that's when we'll see. Also, take note the gap with Michael and Falcon, 1.8 at the moment. We'll come back in around a lap's time and we'll see what that is. I want to look at Harry on board for this final corner. The understeer is excruciating, and Gary Donegan latches right onto the back of him. Not close enough to make a move yet, but just, you know, stay patient, Gary. Just keep your lines, don't get any penalties, and you'll get him eventually, because Harry is struggling with that front wing damage, especially through that final corner. That's the closest battle we have on track at the moment. Gary's going to make a move. Actually, I didn't notice how close he was. Harry closes the door on him. Gary has nowhere to really stick his car in. He didn't, it was a bit half-hearted. He didn't fully attempt the move there, so Gary pressuring Harry for 5th place. Ferrari versus Sauber, and the Sauber's looking feisty to say the least. Lovely helicopter shot there for a brief moment. Yeah, that gap has actually grown a bit now that Falcon's out of Mitch's dirty air. I think maybe Mike has just given himself the hurry up. He's thought, oh, okay, Mitch has just let my teammate through. Let me get a move on, and he's done just that. He's gained about 3/10 on Falcon. Whether Falcon made a mistake, whether Mike has put the hammer down, I don't know. Falcon very slidey out of that last corner. Falcon definitely made a mistake. The thing is about this track is that I find that Falcon's tires are probably at like maybe 30. Oh, he's gone wide. He's gone very wide. What's happened there? He's got himself a 3-second time penalty. That was odd. Wow, I can't tell you what just happened there. Falcon just sort of maybe snatched the brake and just went wide. He's lost a lot of time and a 3-second time penalty to boot. So as I was saying, what I find about this track is that you'll probably see the tires at like, his tires, I doubt they'll even be at 40% at this point. Probably possibly 20 to 30%. But they just go off completely. It's insane how terrible the tires feel from lap 1 compared to lap 7, even when you look at the percentage of wear on them. So the percentage would say that, you know, your tires are in good nick, but in actuality his tires are just dead, and it looks like that at the moment because he's made that mistake. Mike's dropped him, and Mitch, who's given him that lifeline, let him overtake, is now on the back of him again. I'm not sure Mitch will do it a second time. Right on board with Jerry. The super soft runners just seemingly can't come into. Was that front wing damage for YH? It is, I believe. It seems everyone who runs on the super softs just compromises their race by getting front wing damage. Oh, a bit of a hit at the wall from Gary Donegan there. But yeah, super soft runners just cannot capitalize on their little advantage. They keep just losing their front wing, and that just negates the tire wear advantage that they would originally have. Gary Donegan right on the back of Harry. Will he make a move? Will he try it here? Nope, decides to stick to the back of him. Very patient and careful from Gary Donegan. I can't say I would do the same, but Gonna set him up for a move into this left-hander. I think Harry just hit the wall there. He might have even picked up a bit more damage, but Harry definitely struggling. Will he go defensive? He will. He doesn't want to lose that position. He doesn't care about that front wing damage. Behind, we have a Red Bull battling a Williams. Gary cannot make the position. Six down the inside, but he can't do it. Smithy, oh, Smithy had a way too tight line into that corner. Smashes the wall, loses his front wing, and a position to Jari rather, to boot. So Smithy's race is compromised as well. It's just drivers finding it very tough as Harry gets a penalty. Mitch still sticking to the back of Falcon. Mike, you have to say, has this race looking in the bag at the moment. I don't want to jinx anything, but at the moment he's looking very comfortable. This is Mike. I was on Falcon when I said that. So still, the shortest gap is actually becoming a train. We have Harry on those on those supers and with front wing damage. We have Gary Donegan. Jari gets a penalty. Lane 1 pit here. Nope, they all decide to stay out. We have Harry on those supers, holding up Gary Donegan, Jari, Smithy, who's probably going to fall off this pack soon enough with that front wing damage, and YH is now catching with his front wing damage. Racer also has front wing damage. What is? Yeah, YH I think has front wing damage. Racer has front wing damage. Calic Riss looks, he had front wing damage at the start of the race. I don't think so anymore. And neither does Own. I believe that is, yep. Mitch got past Falcon. I'm so sorry, I completely missed that. Yeah, I feel bad for completely missing this move, but Mitch has gotten past Falcon, and that little favor Mitch just did, he's taking it right back. He said, you haven't taken advantage of what I've given you, and I'm just going to take it back off of him. Falcon's struggling in the latter parts of this race. You can sort of see the streaks on his tires. He's definitely struggling for sure. As that's rain, that is definitely rain I am seeing. That's gonna bring up Falcon's woes even more with those worn tires. Rain here in Singapore, which means this race is going to be very long and very tedious for these drivers. And as I said in qualifying, I do not envy them one bit. Wow, now on the back of Falcon is Neo. Falcon pits. Jari retires. He's put it in the what's a very odd place to put it in. He's probably just gone in way too deep. But yeah, Falcon pits. What is he? Does he go for inters? Surely it's a bit early. He does go for inters. Yep, he probably had to. His tires were probably shot, and that's a very early call for inters from Falcon. That's gonna heavily compromise him into Smithy pits for inters as well. So maybe it is time. Maybe the rain came down extremely quickly, and actually is time. Mike's gap is, yep, DRS disabled. So I reckon Falcon might have got second place back. We'll have to see. I'm going to ride on board with Mike. His gap is now 5 seconds, but on those inters, he is struggling hard. Hello to PRL Logic. Mike is struggling very hard. Wow, it looks like the rain came down so quickly. I am shocked by that. I tell you what, I would not be extremely surprised if Falcon finds himself right on the back of Michael once again. Look at how much he's struggling. How much Mitch is struggling. The rain has just come at an amazing pace. Falcon, you have to say, fair play to him. He didn't wait for a DRS disabled. He didn't wait for his engineer. He just got right in there as soon as he thought as much. Wow, look at... Right on board with Falcon, you have to say he's looking substantially more comfortable in these conditions. So Jari giving me some extra info now that he's retired. It's gonna go from light rain to heavy rain to light to dry, so it's gonna be all over the place. Michael pits. Mitch follows him. Neo's going to follow him, I imagine. Harry's going to follow him. Falcon, let's see where Falcon emerges out of all of this. Surely he's got Mitch back again. Let's see how close he is to Michael. Here comes Falcon. I think Mike is going to keep it, for sure. No! No, he's not. He absolutely isn't. Falcon... Falcon takes the lead. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but Falcon, with an inspired strategic call, takes the lead. The rain came down so hard. You have to say, he was on the ball. He was not waiting around for his engineer. He pit immediately. Owen goes on to wets. That's an interesting call from him. It might work out. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on him. But Falcon takes the lead, and a sizable lead too. He now has 3 seconds, almost 4, to Michael. This race has flipped on its head. Absolutely flipped on its head. Harry's lost out. He had to change his front wing. So Gary Donegan finds himself in 5th place. So Gary Donegan finds himself right near Neo. And Owen finds himself out of the race. He's retired. He's called it a day. I think he got front wing damage, and he's not going to recover from that. I'm talking too much. My voice is going. Neo has lost so much time to the guys in front, and Gary Donegan has come alive in these conditions. We have YH now finds himself in 6th place ahead of Smithy, I believe, mate. Did he change his front wing? I believe he did. Calichrist chasing down Racer. So that's a tasty battle to keep our eyes on. That's the closest battle on track, I believe, before Gary Donegan and Racer, which is now extended to a 2nd. I imagine if the drivers know that it's going to go heavy, they're just going to stay on the inters. There's no point in going onto the wets, because it's going to go dry again, which is what I'm hearing from our resident meteorologist, Jerry. So thank you so much for that. Ooh, Calic is so close to the back of Racer. Almost loses a front wing on him. Don't want to do that again. You saw how much time it lost him when he did it in the opening lap. He doesn't want to do it again. He looks very quick out of these 2 cars. Obviously no DRS. I don't believe Owen, I didn't check. I'm not sure if Owen and Jerry left the session, so we might still have Slipstream in the lobby. We'll have to test it out. Although Calic has lost a bit of time to Racer. Falcon pits for wets. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm not a commentator. I'm just a spectator. I'm as close as you guys. Falcon pits for wets. Is that going to work out? Surely that was the wrong idea. The inters work in pretty much every conditions around here. It's a very short stint on the intermediates. Falcon, I was saying he's pulled a master stroke going onto the inter so early. He may have just thrown it all away, going into the wets so early, or the wets at all. Wow. These guys sure have delivered, I have to say. There hasn't been much in the way of overtaking, but the rain coming down, the change of tires, we have to watch Harry and Falcon. Falcon's made the wrong choice here, you have to say. Falcon's made the wrong choice. Oh, Harry's hit at the back of him. Oh no, Falcon. Why did he pit again? Why did he feel the need to pit again? I'm clueless. He was absolutely fine. Harry hits the back of him again, for good measure. But Falcon, you were in the driving seat. Oh. You have to say he's thrown this one away. He's absolutely thrown this one away. He snatched it back amazingly, and he's just thrown it all away once again. Falcon, what are you doing? We had ourselves a title fight on the cards, but it looks like sorry for being pessimistic, but it looks like he's just thrown it away back to Michael once again. Neo's has recovered from his earlier troubles, and he's dropped for Gary Donegan. Falcon finds himself in last place. What is going on? There's 2 words I think describe this situation perfectly. head's gone because Falcon was looking. He was good. He was looking in the perfect position to win the race. Harry has front wing damage. Harry's going to call it a day. He's lost his front wing off of Falcon. I think he's had enough. And Falcon. I'm as disappointed as he is. Harry leaves the session. Falcon loses the back end severely. I'm as disappointed as Falcon is because, you know, he's done so well to get that position back. I want to see a title showdown. I want to see to go to the last day. I want to see the two Toro Rosso boys battle it out, hammer and tongs. I don't want to see a driver with so much talent, so much potential, throw it away like that. After, let me just hold my tongue. I've said enough. I'll give him a bollocking after the race. Meanwhile, Khaled can't get past Racer. Look at the top. The field is sort of stagnated for the time being. So, Racer and Khaled is a battle to watch. I didn't even notice Kara was here. Hello, Kara. I believe he's the season 15 champion, if I'm not wrong. Actually, you're right. I did not notice this. Mitch is catching. So someone put in the chat, Rainmaster Shimmery to win. That was Rick who put that in. Hey, it looks like he's going to make that prediction come true. This race is not over yet by any stretch of the imagination. Falcon languishing down in 9th place after Harry's retirement. But Mitch, who clearly excels in the rain, he showed that in Belgium with that comeback drive after a poor qualifying. Now hunting down championship leader Michael. I doubt Michael will fight him too hard if he knows Falcon has had issues. I'm not sure if Falcon and Mike are in a party. I know they used to be, but maybe not anymore. But Mitch latching onto the back of Michael, and we have a race on our hands. Falcon is 9 seconds off. I'll just ignore them. Kalik on the back of Racer, but he got a bit too eager on the throttle. This is the back end, so he's going to have to probably wait another lap to make an overtake. Gary Donegan in 4th place after Falcon's woes. After, you know, I wouldn't even say woes. Other than Falcon, I think he's earned that one on merit, you know. Brilliant drive from him so far to take 4th place. Here we go, Mitch right on the back of Michael now. This is very interesting. Mitch just clawed onto the back of him. Now, how badly does Michael want this win? Is he thinking short term? Is he thinking long term? Is he in a party with Mike? Does he know where Falcon is? Does he know Falcon struggles? Does he know Falcon's 13 seconds off Kalik wrist? How hard is he going to fight Mitch? Because Mitch, I mean, he's clearly he's the quickest guy on track. I think that's a given. I know I said I don't want to stay on board too much, but I think I want to stay on board with Mitch because he is excelling in these conditions, and the young man from Greece is you're gonna have a lot on his plate to deal with him. But yeah, we've had I believe 3 drivers leave. Mitch goes for it, just given enough room by Mike. So Mitch, I was about to say that we have 3 drivers left, so there's probably not going to be any slipstream. Mitch goes for it again. Oh, he makes the mistake, forceful, but he was not hanging around. I was just about to say, now we have no slipstream in this lobby because 3 people have left. Mitch doesn't care. He's going to stick it down the inside of Mike anyways. He's going to take the lead. Mike, he fought it a little bit, but I imagine he's not too disheartened with losing the lead like that. Look how the race turns on its head, though. Mitch was ready to give the position up to Falcon. He did give the position up to Falcon. And he was ready to watch those two look it out while he was just stuck behind. A few laps later, now he's winning the race. And it looks like he's going to win this race because, as we know, his wet pace is incredible. Gary Donegan, as we saw, got a 3-second time penalty. I might put him into the clutches of YH and possibly Smithy. Kalik got past Racer, so apologies to Kalik, missed that one, but he got past Racer. Falcon is just losing more and more time. to the guys in front. He's really thrown this one away. Good guy Jari didn't leave, but unfortunately his namesake Harry was having none of it, and he left immediately after hitting the back of Falcon. So I imagine Mitch gets the 3-second time penalty. I don't believe Mike has one, so that actually puts it back into Mike's favor. Mitch clawed a 1.3 second gap already on the Toro Rosso driver, so I imagine he could get that 3 seconds within a few laps. But Mike now, once again, leading this race with that time penalty from Mitch. So we are on lap 16 out of 31. Way too many laps for this track. You said about 136 lap times. I don't know. I don't see why you need 31 laps, but apparently it goes off distance rather than lap times. I don't know. I'm not an architect, but what I do know is that that gap is now 2 seconds with Mike and Mitch. Mitch spreading his legs. Mike flapping his arms. You can't get near him. Falcon's bailed. He's pit for inters. 46 seconds off of 8th place. How the mighty have fallen. How the mighty have fallen. We're gonna run on board with Mitch because his pace in the wet is supreme. So, and drivers wanna take tips. Here's your best bet. Right on board with the Rainmeister, Miss Shimmery. It is impressive how he just gets his car straightened out of all these in these corners. I know that when I ride on intermediate conditions, and maybe the same for all the other drivers on this grid, that the rear end does like to step out a little bit, a tiny bit, but he's just keeping it so concise, so steady, so tidy. It's not a surprise that he's taken the lead right off of Michael. It's not a surprise he's put that gap to 2.5 seconds, and it's not a surprise. It won't be a surprise if he can win this race from then on in. But I don't want to... Neo pits for wets. That's an interesting call. YH pit for wets as well. I thought it'd be Falcon pit for wets when it was actually time for wets, because that will just exemplify his entire season, his entire existence, may I add. If that's the case, YH not looking too grippy. We'll look with the gap between him and Racer, both on conflicting tires. Yeah, 14 laps left of this race. 14 laps in the wet, so we're gonna be here a while. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. We have more than one person watching. Fasten your seatbelts. Get yourself a bag of popcorn. Oh, so close to the wall there was YH. Wow, he left an inch. And yeah, as is called out, Gary Donegan. I'm gonna say it one more time. Gary Donegan is chilling in 3rd place. It seems that it actually is time for the wets. YH is sort of gaining on Racer. Maybe that's due to Racer having a lot more wear on his tires compared to YH. But gaining a lot of time on him for sure. Not a lot of time on him, but at least he's not losing too much time. So maybe it is time for wets. Maybe Falcon's just... okay, let me just not speak about Falcon because, you know... for his sake. Mike is now out of that 3-second window to Machinery, so I mean, I sound like a broken record at this point, but Mitch's pace is, and these wet tires is otherworldly, I have to say. I believe that's 3 seconds. My TV's a bit crap, so I can't really tell. Gary Donegan in third place. Smithy not hunting him down. Smithy's 4 seconds back. Neo on those wet tires. Not sure if that was the right call. Calic wrist on those inters. 2.6 is the gap between him and Neo. Yeah, I think for sure that's Calic wrist gets a penalty. I think for sure the wet tires are the quicker tire now. Is why ain't you just latching onto the back of Racer? This is an interesting one. So I'm wondering, because it's supposed to go light rain again. Was there really a point in going back onto the wets? I imagine it'll actually come back to the intermediate tires, unless that possibly tire wear might come into play and they're gonna have to pit again. I don't think so, but the wet tire is definitely the quickest tire at the moment. We'll see in a few laps whether or not the conditions stay that way to allow the wet tires to be quicker. But at the moment, YH is chasing down Racer, Neo's chasing down Smithy. Surprisingly enough, there's no, I said Smithy, no, I said Neo, I can't speak. Surprisingly enough, we don't have any team orders coming into play. I thought that Racer would surely let his own teammate go. He's having absolutely none of that, and he's just gonna keep it in there. Will he go down the inside? Yeah, he will, side by side. Surely the superior grip for YH will give him this position. You don't want to go too wide in through here, and they don't. YH takes 7th place. I do think it is worth staying out on inters. I don't know why anyone would pick for the wets. The inters work in many conditions, and apparently the wets are it's going to only be this wet for a few laps before it goes dry again. So, interesting call from Neo and YH. Thing is, Neo has to make up 2 places. He has to make up 2 places and a gap of 11 seconds. He has to hope the rain doesn't dry off anytime soon. If so, then he's thrown away 3rd place. So we have no battles so far. I believe that YH has gotten past his teammate. YH actually has a 2-second gap to Calic, so we'll ride with him for the time being as he tries to chase that down. Neo is taking about 2 seconds last time I checked off of Smithy. So the wets are definitely the tire to be on right now. In a pace point of view. In a race point of view, I don't think so, because as I was told by Jerry, it is still yet to go light rain back to dry. So very interesting call from the wet runner racers, but hey, it's going to give us some more action, and we can't fault that. Falcon pits once again for wet tires. Knowing Falcon's look, that means it's going to go back to intermediates almost immediately. .6, he really is hunting him down. I think it's a combination of Neo, as he showed in qualifying, he's very quick around here. He's got the better tire to be on the wets compared to the inters, and his tires are much fresher, so he's just chasing it down a breakneck. It's almost within 2 seconds already. We're right on board with him as he just waltzes onto the back of a Smithy. But hey, Gary Donegan, lap 21 out of 31. Gary Donegan is still shooting in 3rd place. He's looking set for a podium at the moment. If Smithy can hold up Neo for a few laps, and if he can turn intermediate conditions, then you know Gary Donegan could be on his way for a podium. Mitch is absolutely dropped Michelangelo. As you see, right on the back of Smithy goes Neo. We make a move down here. Things better of it. Having to be very cautious on the throttle and on the brakes so he doesn't get caught out by Smithy's pace difference. Loses front wing on him. There's the pace difference for you. Down the inside. Looks like he's gonna get that move done. Yep. Nice and simple move for Neo. Back up into 4th place. Now he's gonna hunt down Gary Donegan. YH got past Calic wrist. I'm sorry I missed that one. I seem to miss everything involving Calic wrist. But YH got him, and up into 7th goes YH. He who shall not be named is now 1 minute behind Racer. No, Neo climbing over the back of well, he will be soon enough, climbing over the back of Gary Donegan to steal that podium place that Gary currently occupies. I think you're right, Rick. Probably isn't going to go dry until the very end. I think going dry at all will help the intermediate runners because they're not going to have to pit again. They can just go straight to the ultras. The wet runners might have to pit for inters, then for ultras. Not too sure on that one. There's Neo right in the back of Gary Donegan now. Out of shape for Gary Donegan there. You can tell his tires aren't in the best of nick. Will Neo swing down the inside? No, chooses better up at this time. Chance for punctures. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I don't know how well these inters go. as here comes Neo and Gary Donegan. Gary goes semi-defensive. Neo doesn't fight him too hard, but he sort of releases the brake pedal, lets go of it, goes around the outside, which turns into the inside for this corner, and he makes the move stick. Gary Donegan has nothing to answer him with. So yeah, chance for punctures I imagine is relatively high. I don't think it's too high. This track isn't the worst for tire wear. You could set like 2 qualifying laps on them and still be fine in the race. But so this is our closest battle on track. Gary Donegan on the back of Neo. He hasn't gotten completely dropped, which I find interesting. He's still latching onto the back, but maybe it's coming back to the intermediate tires. Who knows? Kalik did just pit. Yes, I missed that one. So again, Kalik, I'm missing everything you do. If you crash, I probably won't notice, so don't worry about that. Falcon's been lapped by Machinery and his teammate. Well, not his teammate, been lapped by Machinery, his teammate further down the road. That really exemplifies Falcon's race. Went from a great decision to a really, really bad one. Really bad one. Neil's pit. Yeah, it is time for inters, as I imagined. So the wet runners, it just proves that there was really no point in going onto the wet tires at all. Yeah, you'd be quicker for that small moment of time, but you'd have to make 2 extra pit stops because it's gonna go dry. So onto the inters comes Neo. He's lost 2 positions to Smithy, and most importantly for me at least, Gary Donegan. Chick feed our law, Gary. Chick feed our law. Into the pits comes YH as well. Yep, definitely time for inters. Falcon, not that it's been a good race for him in terms of decision making, but he's gonna need to come in for inters once again. At least, you know, fair placement for still plugging along. He's gonna get those 2 points, which are relatively valuable, I'd imagine. But Michael's gonna gain 16 points on. That's gonna be a 30. What's the gap at the moment? Yeah, he's 21 points ahead, 16 on him. It's 37. Great maths. 37 on him. He'll be 20 ahead of Decky. Looking very good for Mike if he just keeps it calm in the next few rounds. I believe he was telling me before the race that if he wins this race, which he's not doing, but Falcon's way too back to really make an indent. If he wins this race, that he can just finish second for the next couple of races. I believe it's a 20-point gap. I believe there's 2 or maybe 3 races left after this one. So if it's 3 races, then he still has to do a bit, does Michael, to claim that title. If it's 2, then he's absolutely right. He can just bring it home in second, possibly even third, to win this one. Wait, no, he's gonna be 22 points ahead of. Yeah, if there's 3 rounds after this one, he can pretty much just finish second every round to the end and let Decky just keep winning. I believe there's 3 rounds left, or maybe 4, however rounds there is. What I'm trying to get at through that incurable tangent I went on, which made 0 sense. Michael's looking very good for the championship. Thank you to the people watching for sticking with me. It's been a very slugfest race. Not much in terms of action, but a lot of intrigues in terms of tire wear. Not tire wear, tire changes. And the rain playing a part. The front wing damage at the start of the race. Falcon ruining his race. It's been the dynamics of this race have been very, very interesting on what it means for the championship. As we're watching on board with Smithy, keeping it nice and calm. Donegan gapping Smithy, so Gary's looking solid for that podium position. Tell you what, I've known him for literally a week, and I'll probably be happier that he's finishing third than he is. 11 seconds is the gap from Michael to Mitch. Mitch has spread his legs. completely, and Michael has no answer. Not that he really needs one because he's in a prime position, but no answer for Michael and Michael anymore. Falcon hasn't pit off those wet tires. No, he has now. Maybe he was just going so slowly that he only just got to the pits now since I last saw him, or maybe he made a mistake because he set a lap of 2:11. But has a 5-second stop and go, just to really rub it in that this has not been his race. I just heard on the chat that Gary has a 3-second penalty, 5-second penalty for stop and go. He did get stop and go for just a simple corner. That's a huge shame. Smithy is 1 warning away from a penalty. So either what has to happen is a 5-second gap, or Smithy gets 1 more penalty. Smithy, I mean, you know, I like you quite a lot, but take him for the team and just shaft the last corner. Gary Donegan deserves that podium. It's 4.4 the gap at the minute. That's something. Thanks for the chat for picking that up for me. As Calic Riss and YH does do battle for the final points position, Neo picks up a penalty. He's 60. You have to say Neo's thrown this race away as well on a much smaller scale than Falcon did, but he was looking solid for 3rd place, and he just went onto the wets when he really did not need to. As did YH. I believe it was YH. He probably would have had a possible 4th position, I don't know. But yeah, putting onto the wets, not a good idea from anybody. Into the pits comes Smithy. That's an interesting one. That's a very interesting one. Why is he pitting? Now, what's he gonna fit? You know, I'll be very interested if this is in the software enters. Very interested. Nope, it's for ultras rather. So, it doesn't look dry enough, and the fact that it doesn't look dry enough means to me that it's still raining as well. So the fact that it doesn't look dry enough means to me that probably his tires were shot. Lose out to Neo. We're right on board with him. Surely this is way too early. This looks like when it was when they all crawled into the pits on lap, I believe, 8. What is Sam doing? That's a terrific question, Jari, that I would love to know the answer to. Surely his tires must have been shot. I'm not sure. Let me check when these guys pit. Lap 10. So they've gone about 17 laps on inters. Surely that's fine. Apparently not, but he's pitted very early for ultras, and now he's gonna struggle. Does anyone want a good result in this race? Are these people actually trying to get their maximum finish? Because it just seems to be people throwing their race away left, right, and center. Race is just gonna waltz past Sam or Smithy. Whether me and him are on a first name basis, I'll have to ask him afterwards. The top 2 don't pit. Gary Donegan doesn't pit. Gary Donegan, I think that's the nail in the coffin, you know. I think that's match. I think that's what's game, set, and match. I think that's the stamp licked and sent. I think Gary Donegan's got himself 3rd position. Neo's about 20 seconds, or is that 10 seconds? I can't see. And Smithy now gets his penalty. You could have done that a bit earlier, Smithy. But yeah, he's struggling on those inters. Very strange decision to take the ultra softs. YH is struggling as well. Does he have front wing damage? I think he does. Or no, I don't think he does. It looks like he's struggling either way. And Calic with that nice drift. I'm happy I caught that one. He's probably happy he caught that one as well. Oof. DRS enabled, so it looks like it is just about time now. Yeah, Smithy, as we were saying that, is caught right up to the back of Racer. So Smithy, I think he left it a lap too late, a lap too early rather, but he's made the mistake. Gary Donegan, where is he? He's coming across into the, that's not Gary Donegan, it's Michael. Gary Donegan, oh dear, I feel, I don't know how bad Smithy's lap on the inters were, on the ultras were, but who knows how close he could get to Gary Donegan, although he did get that 3-second time penalty, so it's looking good for Gary. I was thinking of, you know, just calling it a day because, you know, it's a wet race in Singapore. I kind of just want to sleep at the moment. I'm as tired as these drivers, but yeah, I think I will be doing the pre-race interviews now that this has happened. Mitch pits on the Ultra Softs. Mike, okay, Mike, I see you. Mike keeps on going. That's very interesting from Michelangelo. He's thought that, oh, you know, there's only 3 laps left. Might as well stay out. That's not going to work in the slightest, I can tell you that with confidence. I tell you what, guys. I tell you what, if Mike struggles enough on those intermediate tires, we can look at Gary Donegan second place. I'm not gonna say anything for sure at the moment, but who knows? He has to serve that 5-second stop and go for a simple corner cut, I imagine, which is terrible for him. Smithy's gonna cross the line. Smithy's gonna get him, isn't he? There he is, Smithy. We were saying he made a terrible decision, but it's clearly paid off for him. And Smithy is now up into 3rd place. I'm not gonna pretend I'm not disappointed, but an inspired call from Smithy. He's clearly made the right choice. Calic Riss stays out as well. Very interesting from drivers saying, yeah, Mitch, we're gonna just watch Mitch climb onto the back of Michael because it's not gonna take long for sure. But yeah, Gary Donegan has a lot on his hands now. He's gonna need to claw back 1.6 seconds to Smithy if he wants that podium position. Mitch from so far back is going down the inside of Michael. Very strange decision for Michael to not pit. I really don't know why he didn't do that. I guess he wanted to try something. He might as well. He had a huge gap to the cars behind. But yeah, I imagine he's going to pit this lap. Yellow. Oh, that's Calic Riss. He was on the inters as well. You can look at just the state of those tires, state of his front wing. That's going to be 8th place for Calic Riss, it looks like. Falcon's going slowly. I don't think he's going to do what I think he's going to do. I don't think he's going to do what I think he's going to do. He's going to let him back pass normally. It's going to be fine. Good. I was scared for a second there. Michael pits. Don't tell me Smithy's gonna get Michael. I tell you what. It's gonna be close. Oh, Michael just keeps ahead. Wow, this race. Just when you think it's all signed and sealed, it just isn't. Calic Riss in the wall again. But yeah, Michael keeps the position off of Smithy. If Michael were a real OG, he would just let Smithy pass. But you know, he has a championship to fight for, so I don't blame him too much. Penalty for YH. So tell you what, Gary Donegan's within 1/10 of taking off Smithy's podium position. This is gonna get tense, folks. This is gonna get very tense. Michael coming out in Smithy's dirty air. Sorry, Michael coming out in front of Smithy is gonna give him dirty air. So this could get very interesting. Smithy might actually be ruining the fact that Michael stayed out that extra lap. And there it is, 3 seconds, just over 3 seconds. This is so tense. We have 2 laps left. Machinery's won this race by a country mile. Falcon's driving slowly for reasons I don't know. Smithy's put it back up to 3.1, but it's 3 seconds now. Michael doesn't have any penalties. That's very true. He could let Sam pass, but I'm sure Michael wants that fastest lap of the race on those fresher tires as well. There it is. He's in within 3 seconds. Gary Donegan looking primed for that podium position. Oh, it just ekes back out to 3. Is that 2.9? Gary sets the fast lap of the race just to show his dominance, just to show that he wants that podium position. Falcon gets a 3-second time penalty. He's 2 minutes behind his nearest car. Yeah, that's kind of cool. He's been lapped by 8th place, so the woes continue for Falcon. Gary Donegan, 2.8 seconds. Surely he's got 3rd place locked, signed, and sealed. This is intense. One mistake could change it all. I think, I do think that Michael's dirty air might have really hampered Sam for that half a lap, and it brought Gary Donegan into play. Ooh, a bit of a wobble from Gary. Gary, watch out. Gary served his 5-second stop and go though, so he has 1 penalty, I believe. Smithy has 2. Smithy has 3. Smithy has 3 penalties. Gary has 1 penalty. So yeah, I think Smithy must have picked up a penalty somewhere, but Smithy, Mitch has won the race. I am so sorry. Missionaries won this race. I'm so sorry, Mitch. Domination by him. There's nothing much that needs to be said. He's won this race by a country mile. Terrific performance from him. Mike is going to come back in 7th. I believe Smithy got another penalty somewhere. Gary Donegan served his stop and go, so he should be good for 3rd place. Smithy crosses the line. A bit wide. Gary Donegan, will he take it? That he does. 3rd place for Gary Donegan, 4th for Smithy. Now Neo, he's about 80 seconds behind. You have to say he's throwing away a podium position. He was looking sealed for that 3rd spot. He just threw away with that decision to switch on to wets. He takes 5th. 6th place will be Racer. Solid result from him. Languishing in the lower end of the points at 1 point, so I think he'll be happy with 6th place. And then YH's teammate coming back for 7th. And that'll do it for this race. It's been a very long one. Very intriguing one. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm sure everyone watching enjoyed it as well. It was hectic from start to finish. And there he is, the man of the moment. Machinery, in those wet conditions, he was unbelievably quick. Mike just couldn't do anything about him. So Mike will take 2nd place. He'll be very, very, very happy with 2nd place, considering that Falcon only scored two points. But I think the real story, I think what we're all here for, is Gary Donegan. 7th on the grid, ends up in 3rd place. Driver of the day. I think driver of the day is going to be quite a harder one. No, it's not going to be hard whatsoever. Gary Donegan, driver of the day, driver of the season, driver of the week. Great 3rd place for him. Smithy takes 4th, head of Sergio Perez, which I believe is Neo. Then Racer, YH, Calic Riss, who had a very shocking end to the race, has to be said, and Falcon, who just threw it away, has to be said, in 9th place. So we are going to do podium interviews. I'm not friends with Gary Donegan and Mitch Imrie, so I'll just have to I must add. How do you even sum up that race? How do you even, you know, recap that race? You can look to whoever's gonna try. That's all I'm gonna say. Because it was something. It was definitely something. Hello, Michael. I invited, yeah, there's Mitch. I invited Gary as well. Whether he'll join, we'll see. But yeah, I think we'll wait for, while we wait for Gary, I think we'll get these, interviews going. If anyone in the chat has something they want to ask the drivers, go ahead. But I'm gonna give my first question to you, Mitch. You let Falcon through at the start of the race. What was your thinking in that? Were you just gonna let the two Toro Rossos slug it out?
Well, I know obviously I'm not in a championship battle, and I knew it was going to rain within like the next 10 minutes, so I thought there's no point battling Falcon if I could save my tyres and make sure I get to the first stop on the inters. So I thought there's no point battling him, and also he was much quicker anyway, so yeah. I thought I don't want to waste any tyres or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I like that you had a bit of race management during the race. Shows the high level of play involved. And Mike, after the rain came, Mitch, has to be said, he absolutely dropped you. Were you interested in battling whatsoever, or were you just happy to take second? Okay, a bit snappy. We don't have Gary Donegan in just yet. I'd love to hear from him because he had a solid race to get third place.
Yeah, but, first podium in PRL as well.
Yeah, it is.
He's good. Oh, that's so crazy.
Must have been.
Went from dry, wet, and then dry again.
So did you two know? Did you two know of Falcon's issues?
I don't know. I have no idea what happened to him.
He, for some inexplicable reason, he went to the wet tires after he had taken the lead without.
Went straight to the wet.
Yes, no. First he went onto the inters, and that's how he got the lead. And then he just inexplicably went onto the wets like a few laps later, and he just completely lost. And he ended up in last place, like within a few laps.
That's pretty stupid.
It was very stupid. I mean, no mincing words. It was pretty brain dead.
I knew I could gain like 20 seconds by not pitting for the wets and just holding on to the inters because it was going to go back to light rain again. So I thought there was no point hitting for wets.
That's what a few people did. That's what Neo did, which pretty much gave Gary the third place. He went onto the wets, had his moment, and then had to pit again. So it really didn't work out for him.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well in the end.
While the stream is
on the stream, or what?
That's pretty much what it was. That's pretty much what it was. He let the amazing call get into his head, and he just made the mistake again. I'm waiting for a few questions from the chat, but it seems they're not interested. So I'm just going to show the stream my my time trial laps so I can show off a bit. That fifth in the world. Get in.
Was it a good race on the stream?
It was a very good race. It had a few little bit of lulls. I legit like I'm very tired. I didn't sleep much, so like at one point I actually did like close my eyes. But I woke up again and everything kicked off. So it was a very interesting race, though. Very exciting race. I didn't know what was gonna end. So I think we'll call it there. Congratulations to Mike and to Mitch on your podiums. Mitch on your win. Next race is Japan, I believe.
No, we don't have Japan. I think it's we'll go straight to USA actually.
All right, straight to USA. So
Yeah.
we have 3 races left.
Yeah, I think so. Got Mexico and then Brazil.
As Mike was saying to me, he has to only finish. He can finish second throughout the entire to the end of the season, and he'll win the championship. So good luck for the rest of you. You'll if all the viewers watching, we're gonna have round 13, which is, as he just said, USA.
Yeah.
Same channel, same time. I've been Odoms. This is Mitch and Oda. I can't even speak. It's been too long. Anyway, goodbye.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Cheers. Cheers for commentating.
No worries.